Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Hey there, good morning everybody, and welcome to Daily Devotion with Pastor Chris. You have reached episode number 1243. I am recording this right before church on Sunday. The reason for that is I have an early morning meeting on Monday morning, and it's going to conflict with my times. So I wanted to go ahead and get started and give you DDPC this brand new week. So we're starting a brand new chapter. We're in Acts chapter 23. We've been going through the book of Acts kind of line by line. And so we're in the 23rd chapter. I want to read to you the first 5 verses for today. And kind of give you an overview that Acts chapter 23 is this powerful reminder that when everything feels out of control, that God is still present and he's protecting and he's guiding us toward his purpose. And so the Apostle Paul is caught here in the middle of some antagonism. He's caught between religious anger, political scheming. So the Pharisees are religiously angry, the Sadducees are politically scheming, and then there's personal danger because he's the object of both of these things, and they're afraid that he's going to get killed. But through it all, he remains centered on the calling, and it very much reminds me of a soldier. A soldier can be in the middle of a tremendous moral dilemma on the battlefield. But at the end of the day, the soldier's duty is to carry out the orders. And in a way, Paul is a soldier. He's a soldier for Christ. And so he has to remain centered on the calling. And so just remember that through the chaos that you might be experiencing, right? That the Lord stands near you and he gives us this command, which we won't see till later, but he gives us command to take courage. So let me read to you the first 5 verses, Acts chapter 23. Paul looked straight at the Sanhedrin and said, "My brothers, I have fulfilled my duty to God in all good conscience to this day." At this, the high priest Ananias ordered that those standing near Paul strike him on the mouth. Can you imagine? Like, I'm technically the priest of the church, right? What if I didn't like what somebody's saying? I'm like, you know what? Punch him out. That would not go well, right? But that's what happened. And then verse 3 says, "Then Paul said to him, 'God will strike you, you whitewashed wall. You sit there to judge me according to the law, yet you yourself violate the law by commanding that I be struck.' And those who were standing near Paul said, 'How dare you insult God's high priest?' And Paul replied, 'Brothers, I did not realize that he was the high priest, for it is written, do not speak evil about the ruler of your people.'" So Paul begins this whole situation by addressing the Sanhedrin, but then tensions escalate quickly when he calls out their hypocrisy. And so Ananias, this high priest, has him struck, and Paul reacts boldly, but then he realizes who he was speaking to, and so he apologizes and he adjusts his response, showing that he does in fact have respect for the law of God. And this is very interesting. It's very, very interesting because, like, Paul was unjustly struck and he could have just lost all respect for the guy, but he has so much respect for God and his law that when he realizes that Ananias is the high priest, he humbles himself. And in today's culture, believers often find themselves speaking truth or speaking of the truth of Jesus in environments that are hostile, workplaces that are anti-God, classrooms that have political agendas, or even on social media where everybody's free to say whatever they want. And it's easy to react with frustration or sarcasm. It's easy to combat it, easy to lash out. But here Paul reminds us to balance our boldness with respect, to speak the truth in love, Jesus said. Because the truth of this is this: if you get into an insulting match, if you get into just throwing words around, nobody wins that argument. It usually turns into cursing, then yelling and escalating tensions, and then eventually physical altercations. But imagine a Christian teacher in a public school who's asked to compromise their values for the sake of inclusion, right? This is not a far-fetched scenario. This stuff happens. And so they've got to speak wisely and stand firm on the truth, but avoid personal attacks, right? So you have to think about your words. That's why the Bible says you have two ears and one mouth. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. Let your speaking be very on purpose, right? And so like I said, you speak the truth in love. Ephesians 4:15. Even when you're misunderstood, speak the truth in love. There are many. Look, I'm a public speaker. I stand in a pulpit. I'm about to right now. There's many times where people think they heard me say something that I didn't say and or intend. I've had people leave the church because they thought that I said something from the pulpit and it wasn't at all what I said. And so my response to them is not, forget you. My response is, look, if I have done something to offend you, let's talk about it. Maybe I'm in error. And if I'm in error, it's good for me to know. I'm not even going to try to make you stay here. What I'm asking is I need to be clear on this so that this doesn't happen again. You know what I mean? And so just be careful about your words and understand that even if the environment is hostile, we can still speak truth, but speak it in love. So that's the first 5 verses of Acts chapter 23. I hope that's a blessing to you this morning. God bless you so much. Have a beautiful, rich day in the presence of God, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.